Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving deep today into something I know a lot of you are interested in, improving your English.
Right.
But we're going beyond the basics today.
Okay.
We're looking at advanced methods for practicing English on your own.
Uh-huh.
We'll be drawing insights from how to practice English by yourself, advanced English methods.
Sounds good.
I'm so excited to dig into this.
Me too.
There are some pretty intriguing concepts in here,
Oh.
like this idea of creating an English bubble
Okay.
and using AI for language practice.
Wow. Yeah.
Really cool stuff.
Interesting.
And to help us unpack all this,
Yeah.
we have an expert with us today who can explain what these techniques mean
Yeah.
and how you can actually use them to level up your language skills.
Absolutely.
So to kick things off,
Yeah.
can you give us a quick overview of what this book is all about?
Sure. So at its core,
Yeah.
the book is really about taking control of your own language learning. It argues that you don't have to rely on classes or tutors to become fluent in English.
Interesting.
You can achieve mastery on your own with the right approach and tools.
Okay. That's empowering.
It is.
So what does that right approach actually look like?
Well, the book outlines 4 core principles:
Okay.
immersive learning,
Yeah.
skill integration,
Yeah.
self-assessment,
Mhm.
and understanding cultural context.
I see.
And it stresses the importance of things like crafting a personalized curriculum,
Okay.
setting SMART goals,
Right.
and leveraging technology for optimal learning.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So let's start with this whole English bubble
Uh-huh.
concept.
Okay.
Because I have to admit,
Yeah.
I'm super intrigued by that idea.
It's a really powerful one.
Yeah.
Basically, the book is saying that immersion is key for language learning,
Okay.
especially for advanced learners.
Got it.
It's about surrounding yourself with English as much as possible.
So, how does that work in practice?
Well, think about it this way. If you were suddenly dropped in a country where you didn't speak the language,
Yeah.
you'd have to learn quickly just to survive, right?
Makes
You'd
sense.
be constantly listening, trying to speak,
Yeah.
picking up words and phrases from context.
Right.
An English bubble aims to replicate that kind of intense exposure, but in a way that you can control.
Okay, I see.
So instead of being physically immersed,
Yeah.
you're creating that immersive environment for yourself.
Right. That's actually pretty cool.
It is.
But how do you actually go about doing that?
Well, you have to get creative
Hmm.
and think about all the ways you can integrate English into your daily life.
So give me some examples.
Sure. So one simple thing you can do
Yeah.
is start watching movies and TV shows in English.
Without subtitles.
Exactly.
Wow.
I know it can be tempting to use subtitles,
It is.
especially if you're worried about missing something.
I'm so guilty of that.
But trust me,
Yeah.
your brain will surprise you with how much it can pick up. Even if you don't understand every word at first,
Right.
you'll gradually get used to the sounds, the rhythms, the
Yeah.
intonation of the language.
That's true.
Yeah.
I've noticed that with music.
Exactly.
Like, I can sing along to songs,
Yeah,
even if I don't fully understand all the lyrics.
Right.
But I'm picking up something.
you are.
Yeah.
And the same thing happens with movies and TV shows.
Okay. I'm convinced.
Good.
I'm going to try that.
Awesome.
Maybe I'll start with a show I've already seen.
That's a great strategy.
Yeah.
That way you have a general idea of what's happening
Right.
and you can focus more on the language.
Exactly.
And don't just stop at TV.
Oh,
Think about all the other ways you can surround yourself with English.
okay. Like what?
Switch your podcast feed to English language shows.
Uh-huh.
Listen to music in English.
Okay.
Even try reading news articles and books in English.
Yeah.
The more you expose yourself to the language,
Right.
the stronger your comprehension and vocabulary will become.
It's all about building habits then.
It is.
Making English a natural part of your day.
Exactly.
Not just something you force yourself to study.
Right.
So it's about finding ways to make it enjoyable too.
Absolutely.
That's a good point.
Have fun with it.
Yeah.
Try thinking to yourself in English. Yeah.
Like narrate your day as you go about your activities. Really?
It sounds silly,
It does.
but it helps train your brain to think in the language,
Mm.
which is crucial for fluency.
So we've got this English bubble idea, which I'm definitely going to try.
Awesome.
But the book also talks about personalized learning, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So can you tell me more about that?
Sure. The book really stresses the importance of tailoring your learning to your individual needs and goals.
Okay.
It's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
So how do you figure out what works best for you?
Well, the first step is to honestly assess your strengths and weaknesses.
Right.
What are you already good at?
Mm.
Where do you struggle the most?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe you have a strong vocabulary, but your grammar needs work.
Right.
Or perhaps you're a great listener, but you struggle to speak confidently.
It's different for everyone.
Exactly.
So once you've figured out your strengths and weaknesses,
Yeah.
what do you do?
Then you can create a targeted plan that addresses those specific needs.
So it's like creating a custom workout plan
Exactly.
for your language skills.
Right.
I like that.
And just like a workout plan,
Yeah.
you need to set SMART goals.
Smart.
Specific, measurable, achievable,
Yeah.
relevant, and time-bound.
I see.
So instead of just saying, I want to improve my English,
Right.
you might set a goal. Like, I want to be able to hold a 5-minute conversation about my hobbies in English within 3 months.
Okay, that's much more specific.
You're right.
And it gives you something concrete to work towards.
Exactly.
I can see how that would help with motivation.
It does.
So once you have those goals,
yeah.
what's next?
Well, the book provides a framework for breaking down your learning journey into manageable steps. It also emphasizes the importance of integrating all 4 core skills.
Reading,
Yes.
writing,
Uh-huh.
listening,
Yes.
and speaking,
Right.
rather than just focusing on one in isolation.
Right.
Because I think a lot of people tend to gravitate towards the skills they're already comfortable with.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But this book argues that a more holistic approach is more effective.
Okay, I can see how that would make sense.
Yeah, because the skills are all interconnected.
Right.
Improvements in one area can often benefit the others.
So give me an example.
Sure. So let's say you're working on building your vocabulary through reading.
Okay.
Well, that expanded vocabulary will also make it easier for you to express yourself in writing and speaking.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, so it's like building this strong foundation that supports all aspects of your language skills.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So let's dive into some of the specific strategies that the book recommends.
Sure.
For each skill area,
Okay.
starting with reading.
Okay.
Because I know a lot of people struggle with
Yeah.
making reading more of an active learning experience
True.
rather than just passively skimming through text.
Absolutely.
So what does the book have to say about that?
Well, the book goes beyond basic comprehension
Okay.
and introduces some advanced techniques.
That can really transform reading
Yes.
into an active learning process.
Exactly.
Okay, all ears. Tell me more.
All right, so one technique is critical reading.
Critical reading.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is about moving beyond simply understanding what the author is saying
Okay.
and really delving deeper into the why and how.
Oh, I see. So it's not just about comprehending the words on the page.
No.
It's about analyzing the author's intent,
Right.
dissecting the structure of the text,
Uh-huh.
understanding the tone,
Yes.
really engaging with the nuances of the language.
Exactly.
Okay, that's taking reading to a whole new level.
It is.
I like it.
It's about asking questions as you read,
Oh,
challenging the author's assumptions,
right.
considering different perspectives, and
Right.
forming your own opinions.
Wow. So it's almost like having a conversation
It is.
with the author through the text.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
It makes reading much more engaging
Yeah,
and intellectually stimulating.
absolutely.
Another technique the book highlights
Okay.
is speed reading.
Speed reading.
Now, this doesn't mean skimming through the text as fast as possible
Right.
without absorbing anything.
Of course.
It's about learning techniques like skimming and scanning
Uh-huh.
to quickly identify key information and main ideas.
So you can still get the gist of what you're reading,
Yes,
but more efficiently.
exactly.
That sounds incredibly useful,
It is.
especially for things like academic papers or reports,
Absolutely.
where you often have to process a lot of information quickly.
It's a valuable skill to have.
It's like having a secret weapon for information overload.
Exactly.
And finally,
Yeah.
the book emphasizes the importance of annotation.
Right.
So what does that mean exactly?
It means actively engaging with the text
Okay.
by highlighting key points,
Uh-huh.
summarizing paragraphs in your own words, and noting down unfamiliar vocabulary.
So you're basically turning the text into a living document,
Yes,
a record of your interaction
Right.
with the ideas and the language.
exactly.
I love that.
It's a great way to make reading more active and engaging.
And this active engagement with reading
Yeah.
lays the foundation for the next crucial skill.
Which is,
Exactly.
a lot of people see writing as this big, scary thing,
I know what you mean.
especially when it comes to a language you're still learning.
It can be intimidating.
Yeah, but this book,
Yeah.
it really flips the script on that.
How so?
It emphasizes that writing is actually a powerful tool
Okay.
for improving your English, for gaining clarity, and precision in your expression.
So you're saying writing can actually help you become more fluent.
Exactly.
Interesting.
When you write, you have to think more carefully about grammar,
Right.
about word choice, about how to structure your thoughts logically.
It forces you to slow down
Yeah.
and really pay attention to the language.
Precisely.
Okay, I can see that.
And one of the simplest but most effective suggestions
Yeah.
that the book offers
Okay.
is to keep a daily journal in English.
A journal.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
It's a low-pressure way to get into the habit of writing regularly.
Right.
You don't have to worry about being perfect.
Yeah.
Just let your thoughts flow.
No judgment.
Exactly.
Right.
It's about getting those creative juices flowing.
Okay.
Allowing yourself to experiment with the language,
Uh-huh.
to make mistakes and learn from them.
And the book encourages going beyond journaling too, right?
Absolutely.
Like trying different styles of writing to
Yes.
really expand your skills
Exactly.
and vocabulary.
The more you vary your writing practice, the better.
So what kind of things should I be writing?
Well, you could try writing essays, reports, short stories, poems.
Even emails?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Each style challenges you to use language in different ways,
I see.
to adapt your tone and vocabulary to different contexts.
It's like cross-training for your writing muscles.
Exactly.
I like that.
So you're not just working on one specific skill,
Right.
You're developing a well-rounded writing style.
Okay, that makes sense.
But what about feedback?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because getting feedback on your writing
Yeah,
is crucial for improvement.
absolutely.
But it can be hard to find someone
Right.
who can provide constructive criticism.
Especially if you're not in a classroom setting.
Exactly.
So what does the book suggest?
Well, one option is to connect with native speakers
Okay.
through online language exchange platforms or communities.
Oh, that's a good idea.
There are many websites and apps out there that connect language learners from around the world.
So you can exchange feedback with each other.
Exactly.
That's fantastic.
It's like having a built-in writing buddy
I like it.
who can provide insights
Yeah.
from a native speaker's perspective.
And the book also mentions online communities
It does.
that are specifically for English learners,
Right.
like subreddits or forums,
Exactly.
where you can post your writing and get feedback.
Yes.
That's so cool.
It's like tapping into a collective wisdom of language enthusiasts.
I love that.
There's a lot of support out there.
Yeah.
You just have to know where to look.
Okay, so are there any other techniques that really stood out to you
Let me think.
from the book's approach to writing?
One that I found particularly interesting
Okay.
was the idea of rewriting passages.
Rewriting
Yeah.
from what?
From well-written books or articles.
Oh, interesting.
It's kind of like an exercise in style imitation.
So you choose a passage that you admire
Yeah.
for its language,
Uh-huh.
its structure, its tone,
Right.
and try to rewrite it in your own words,
Exactly.
but paying close attention to how the author crafted those sentences.
Precisely.
Wow, that's really cool.
It's a way to learn from the masters,
Yeah.
to dissect their techniques, and then incorporate those techniques into your own writing.
So it's like studying the brushstrokes of a great painter
It is.
to understand their artistry.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm definitely going to try that one.
Awesome.
Now let's shift gears
Okay.
to a skill that's often seen as the foundation
Yeah.
of fluency,
Uh,
listening.
right.
It's something we do passively all the time.
We do.
But how do we turn it
Yeah.
into an active learning experience?
That's a great question.
Yeah?
And the book offers some really insightful strategies
Okay.
for transforming listening from a passive activity
Right?
to an active skill-building exercise.
So tell me more.
First and foremost,
Yeah.
the book emphasizes the importance of active listening.
Active listening.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It means engaging with what you're hearing rather than just letting the sounds wash over you.
So being present,
Yes.
paying attention to the meaning, the nuances, the way the speaker is using their voice
Right.
to convey their message.
Exactly.
Oh, I see.
And the book suggests several techniques
Okay.
for developing active listening skills.
Like what?
Well, one is to listen with a purpose.
A purpose.
Yeah.
So before you start listening to something,
Right.
you ask yourself what you want to get out of it?
Exactly.
Okay.
Are you trying to understand the main ideas?
Mm.
Are you focusing on specific vocabulary?
Okay.
Are you paying attention to the speaker's pronunciation and intonation?
Right.
Having a clear purpose helps you focus your attention and process the information more effectively.
It's like having a mental filter that helps you sift through the information
Uh-huh.
and extract what's most relevant to your goals.
Precisely.
Okay, that makes sense.
Another technique is to take notes.
MOOCs.
while you listen.
Okay.
This doesn't mean transcribing every word,
What?
but rather jotting down key points,
Uh-huh.
summarizing main ideas, or noting down unfamiliar vocabulary.
Taking notes is such a classic study technique.
It is.
But it's amazing how often we forget to apply it to listening.
That's true.
It really forces you to engage with the material, to process in a way that makes it more memorable.
Exactly.
Okay, what else?
The book also recommends practicing listening with different accents.
Different accents.
Yeah, because English is spoken all over the world.
That's true.
And exposure to different accents not only broadens your comprehension,
Right.
but it also helps you appreciate the diversity of the language.
Yeah, I've noticed that
Yeah.
the more I listen to different accents,
Uh-huh.
the easier it becomes to understand anyone. Exactly.
Regardless of their background.
It's like expanding your mental dictionary of sounds and rhythms, making your ear more adaptable and versatile.
I like that.
The book also mentions a technique called dictation.
Dictation.
Yes.
I remember that from school.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
But it's a really good one.
It can be challenging.
It can.
But it really forces you to pay attention to every word and sound.
Exactly.
How does it work?
Basically, you listen to a passage of spoken English.
Okay.
And you write down exactly what you hear.
Word for word.
Word for word.
Wow, that's tough.
It is.
But I can see how it would be really helpful.
It's a fantastic way to train your ear.
Okay.
To distinguish between similar sounds, to pick up on subtle nuances in pronunciation, and to improve your overall comprehension.
It's like a workout for your ears.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of workouts, the book introduces a technique called shadowing. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Have you tried it? I haven't, actually.
It's a great technique.
So what is it exactly?
It's a powerful technique for improving pronunciation, intonation, and fluency. It involves listening to a native speaker, either through an audio recording or a video, and then repeating what you hear.
Repeating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mimicking their pronunciation, their intonation, even their pauses and breaths.
So you're trying to synchronize your voice with theirs.
You are.
To become their vocal shadow.
Exactly.
That sounds challenging.
It is.
But also incredibly effective.
It is one of the best ways to internalize the natural rhythms and intonation patterns of English.
Think of it like learning a dance routine.
Ooh, I like that analogy.
At first you might feel awkward and clumsy.
Right.
But with practice,
you
start to move more fluidly and gracefully.
Exactly.
It's about training your voice to move with the music of the language.
Beautifully said.
Now let's talk about the skill. That often feels like the ultimate test of fluency.
The big one.
Speaking.
Yes.
It's the one that can make even the most confident learner break out in the cold sweat.
I know.
So how do we overcome that fear?
Well, the book offers a range of strategies to help you build confidence and fluency, even if you don't have regular access to native speakers.
Oh, okay. I'm all ears. Tell me more.
One of the simplest or most effective techniques is to record yourself speaking.
Record myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
It could be anything.
Like what?
Reading a passage from a book, answering practice questions, or just talking about your day, and then listen back to the recording and analyze your pronunciation.
Yeah.
Fluency and clarity.
I've actually tried that before.
You have.
It's really helpful.
It is.
Because you can hear those little mistakes that you might not notice while you're speaking.
Exactly.
Like those pronunciation quirks.
Right.
Or grammatical slips. It's like having an objective ear.
Yes.
To listen to yourself.
It gives you that feedback you need to become your own language coach.
And the best part is, you can do it anytime, anywhere.
Absolutely.
No more stage fright.
Right.
You can practice in the comfort of your own home.
Exactly.
The book also suggests practicing impromptu speaking.
It does.
Which sounds terrifying.
It can be a bit daunting.
Yeah.
But it's also incredibly helpful.
So how does that work?
You choose a random topic.
Okay.
Set a timer for a minute or two and just start talking.
No scripts?
Nope.
No safety net?
Just you and your thoughts.
Wow.
Flowing freely in English.
It's like training your brain to think in real time.
Exactly.
Okay, I can see how that would be really valuable.
It is.
But are there any other techniques for developing speaking fluency?
Oh, there are a few more that I think are worth mentioning.
What about tongue twisters?
Oh, yeah.
Those always make me think of childhood games.
I know, right?
More than serious language practice.
But they can be surprisingly helpful.
Really?
Especially for pronunciation.
How so?
Well, think of them as mini workouts
Yeah.
for your mouth muscles.
Okay.
They force you to pay attention
Yeah.
to the precise articulation of sounds,
Right.
which can be really helpful
Ah.
for mastering those tricky consonant clusters
Yeah.
or vowel distinctions.
So it's not just about speed.
Yeah.
It's about precision and control.
Yeah, exactly.
Like training your tongue to dance.
I love it.
But what about actually interacting
Yeah,
with other English speakers,
that's a big one.
especially for people who are studying independently?
It is.
It can be hard to find opportunities to practice speaking.
It can.
So what does the book suggest?
Well, one option is to join online discussion groups or language exchange platforms
Okay.
where you can connect with other English learners and native speakers from around the world.
That's a great idea.
It's like creating a virtual English speaking community
I like it.
where you can practice your skills
Yeah.
in a supportive and engaging environment.
I've also heard of virtual exchange programs
Oh, yeah, those are great.
where you partner with someone
Right.
who's learning your native language
Exactly.
and you help each other practice.
It's a win-win.
It's like a language learning buddy system.
I love it.
And if you can't find a partner,
The
book even suggests talking to yourself in English,
It does.
which I have to admit I've done.
Have you?
Yeah,
It can be surprisingly helpful.
it is.
It might sound a little crazy,
It does.
but it can really help you get comfortable
Yeah.
with the sounds of the language.
And practice pronunciation.
Exactly.
Think of it as a rehearsal.
Right.
You can narrate your day, have imaginary conversations, or even practice giving presentations
Yeah.
to an audience of stuffed
Well,
animals.
why not?
The key is to get those vocal cords vibrating
Absolutely.
and to make English a part of your inner world.
As well as your outer world.
Exactly. Now, one challenge I think a lot of language learners face
Yeah.
is vocabulary overload.
It's a common struggle.
It can feel like you're constantly bombarded with new words,
Right.
and it's easy to get discouraged.
I know.
So what can we do about that?
Well, vocabulary acquisition is a lifelong journey, but the book offers some practical strategies
Okay.
for making the process more manageable and effective.
Like what?
One key recommendation is to focus on high-frequency words and phrases.
High frequency.
Yeah.
So the words that you're most likely to encounter
Right.
in everyday conversations and reading materials.
Exactly.
It's like building a house.
Ooh, I like
You
that.
start with a
Or
framework,
foundation.
and then you add the details
Well,
later.
exactly.
So once you've identified those high-frequency words,
Yeah.
how do you actually learn them?
Well, the book recommends using spaced repetition techniques.
Spaced repetition.
Yeah, have you heard of that?
I have.
It involves revisiting words at increasing intervals, which helps move them from short-term to long-term memory.
So you're basically reminding your brain
Right.
to keep those words active.
Exactly.
It sounds like a really effective way to make vocabulary stick.
It is.
Are there any other strategies for tackling vocabulary?
Yes, the book also suggests grouping words.
Grouping.
Yeah,
By what?
by themes or contexts.
Okay, give me an example.
Sure. So let's say you're learning vocabulary related to travel.
Okay.
You could focus on words related to transportation,
Uh-huh.
accommodation,
Mm.
sightseeing.
I see.
Creating these thematic clusters
Yeah.
helps your brain make connections
Okay.
and remember words more easily.
It's like organizing your mental vocabulary library.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of mental hurdles,
Oh, yeah.
one of the biggest challenges
Huh?
for language learners
I know.
is the fear of making mistakes.
It's a common one,
It can be paralyzing.
especially when it comes to speaking.
Absolutely.
So how do we overcome that fear?
Well, the book encourages us
Yeah.
to reframe our perspective on errors.
Oh, how so?
Instead of seeing them as failures,
Right.
we should view them as valuable learning opportunities.
That's a great way to look at it.
It's about shifting from a mindset of perfectionism
Yeah,
to a mindset of growth.
exactly.
Each mistake is a chance to learn and improve.
And even native speakers make mistakes.
That's true.
It's a natural part of language use.
So we shouldn't be so hard on ourselves.
Exactly.
And to make the most of those learning opportunities,
Yeah,
the book recommends seeking constructive feedback
it does.
from others.
Whether it's from a teacher,
Uh-huh.
a language exchange partner, or an online community.
Feedback can be so helpful.
It can.
It helps us identify areas where we can improve.
And it provides encouragement along the way.
It's like having a language coach in your corner.
I like that.
Now, I know we've talked a lot about individual strategies
Yeah,
for each skill area,
we have.
but the book also emphasizes self-assessment.
It does. Why is that so important? Well, self-assessment is like checking your GPS.
Ooh, another good analogy.
As you travel,
Okay.
it helps you track your progress. Identify areas where you might be veering off course and make adjustments to your route.
So it's about taking ownership of your learning journey,
Exactly.
making sure you're headed in the right direction.
Precisely.
So how can we actually assess our progress?
Well, the book offers several suggestions.
Okay.
One is to keep a portfolio of your written work.
A portfolio.
Yeah.
Okay.
This allows you to look back and see how your writing has evolved over time.
I like that. Yeah.
You can actually see the improvements you've made.
It's like a visual record of your language growth.
Exactly.
It's a good reminder of how far you've come.
Especially when you're feeling discouraged.
That's a good point.
Another effective method is to take regular quizzes or mock tests online.
Quizzes and tests.
Yeah. These assessments can help you gauge your understanding of grammar, vocabulary comprehension.
And they can pinpoint areas that need more attention.
Exactly.
It's like giving yourself a little language checkup.
I love that.
It can be nerve-wracking.
It can.
But it's also incredibly helpful.
For identifying those blind spots you might not even realize we have.
Okay, what else?
The book also highlights the importance of tracking your vocabulary acquisition.
Tracking vocabulary.
Yeah. Okay. There are many apps and websites that use spaced repetition techniques to help you learn and retain new words.
And by keeping track of the words you're learning, you can see how your vocabulary is expanding.
Exactly.
And identify areas where you might need to focus more.
It's like watching your mental vocabulary garden grow.
I love these analogies.
Me too.
Now, I know we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
But there's one more aspect of the book that I think is so crucial for successful language learning.
What's that?
Mindset.
Yes.
It's not just about the techniques and strategies.
Right.
It's about cultivating the right attitude towards the learning process.
Absolutely.
So what does the book have to say about that?
Well, it emphasizes the importance of embracing a growth mindset.
A growth mindset?
Yeah.
What's that?
It's the belief that your abilities aren't fixed, but can be developed through dedication and effort.
So it's about believing in yourself.
It is.
And your ability to learn and grow.
Exactly.
It's about seeing challenges as opportunities.
Yes.
Viewing mistakes as stepping stones. And approaching the whole process with a sense of curiosity and wonder.
Beautifully said.
I think that shift in mindset can be so transformative.
It can.
When you view learning as an adventure, a journey of discovery, the whole process becomes more enjoyable.
It does.
And rewarding.
And when you enjoy the process,
you're
more likely to stick with it.
And see results.
Exactly.
And speaking of results, one of the most motivating things about language learning is seeing how those skills can be applied to real life.
It's true.
It could be something as simple as understanding a song lyric or having a conversation with a native speaker.
Right.
Those moments are pure magic.
They are.
That make all the hard work worth it.
Absolutely.
And they fuel our desire to keep learning.
They do.
So the world opens up in new and exciting ways.
It does.
We can connect with people from different cultures, access information from around the globe, express yourself with greater clarity and confidence.
It's like gaining a superpower.
I think that's what makes this book so inspiring.
I agree.
It's not just a guide to language acquisition.
Right.
It's a roadmap to personal growth and fulfillment.
It empowers us to take control of our learning.
And to embrace the transformative power of language.
Beautifully said.
Well, this has been such an insightful deep dive.
It has.
Into the world of self-driven English learning.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
From creating an English bubble to mastering the 4 core skills.
Leveraging technology and even embracing the cultural dimensions of the language.
It's been a fascinating exploration of the strategies and mindset that can help anyone achieve fluency.
I think the key takeaway here is that the power to master English lies within each of us.
Absolutely.
With dedication. The right approach, and a growth mindset.
Right.
We can all unlock the doors to fluency.
And open ourselves to a world of possibilities.
Keep exploring.
Yes.
Keep practicing. And keep believing in yourself.
The journey might be challenging at times. But the rewards are immeasurable.
And remember, you're not alone on this journey.
That's right.
There are countless resources available.
There are.
Online communities eager to support you.
Absolutely. And a global network of fellow language learners.
We're all in this together.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive
It's been a pleasure.
into the world of self-driven English learning.
Until next time.
Keep diving deep.